Welcome you to Porch Talk. This is your host, Alan, and it's been a while, but I got an old friend here with me. You're gonna dig the setup if you ain't seen it. I got Jared Kenney, JFK Headshot on Twitch. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's the Twitch username.
What's
Buddy
good,
came up
dude?
with it, thought it was fun. Thought it was funny because the whole Call of Duty thing, and that's one game I love. And he was like, "What about JFK headshots?" And I was like, "That's hysterical. Let's do it."
Yeah. And he match makes with a guy called Grassy Knoll. They're a combo.
Yep. Yep. Become
Uh,
1-2 punch. But yeah, I just yeah, I'm trying to play more, like stream more, but it's like hard to like commit like a set schedule, like once a week or whatever. I'm still trying to figure out that happy medium. Um, but yeah, I've been playing the hell out of NCAA football or college football 25, whatever everyone calls it now, but I'm still gonna call it NCAA.
mhm.
Dude, the game is so much fun. It's perfect. I don't know if you got a chance to play it yet or not.
Briefly, dude, I played a couple of exhibition games just over at a friend's house or whatever else, but
Oh yeah.
my nephew is 11 and my brother has it on the PlayStation 5 and man,
Hmm.
they sent me a picture that took me back. So my nephew is his bedroom is the bedroom that I grew up in.
Yeah.
And the room is still set up the same, very similar to the way that I had it.
Hmm.
And they sent me a picture, like my brother was sitting behind my nephew and he's playing college football. And I was like, dude, it's like circle of life, man. Like it's all back now.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like and that's funny. That's like conversations that I've been having like with really close people. It's like time's a flat circle. Like history is literally repeating itself. Like
Yeah.
in so many more ways than one. And this game like brought back all those memories that we had like growing up and stuff. It's awesome. And it's like it's almost dangerous though, because like the first week it came out, dude, I would play it, like I would start playing and then I would look down and then all of a sudden like 5 hours went by and I was like, what? And it's already like 11 o'clock at night, midnight. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So it's like trying to find that happy medium of like, all right, how much is too much?
Yeah, there's a few people that I haven't seen since the game came out. Like they're ghosts now. I think that's just what they
Oh,
do.
100%.
And no issue with that, dude. I'm thoroughly impressed. I haven't sat down with the dynasty mode yet, but with
Dude, that's a
ev-
whole nother realm. It takes so much like, but if you want to like actually like get the full experience, like with, you know, recruiting players or whatever, draft transfer portal and all this, it's so detailed. It's so much fun. And like they kind of messed with like the um how good the lesser teams was. Like I say lesser teams, I should say smaller schools. They like messed with like how good those smaller schools can get. Because like if you played a dynasty, those smaller schools will like be in contention in the college football playoff like 2 years after or like 2 seasons. And it's like so they kind of like dialed that back a little bit. I think they're tuning in to like kind of keeping it super realistic and stuff. It's perfect. It's awesome to watch.
I mean that was always the thing is let me get my go-to team was always the East Carolina
Yep.
Pirates and in dynasty mode and like 10 years ago, last time we had NCAA, it would take you about 2 or 3 seasons and you're in BCS national championship contention,
Hmm.
and you have done built up a hell of a lineup. I mean, the recruits, your pipeline is opening up, but like from everything that I've seen from just watching online videos or just hearing people who have it talk about it, is it is like real life Sims. Like you have to make sure your offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator's happy. You got to watch the pipeline. The transfer portal changed everything because those guys, what they have like a month, so
Yeah, I think so.
their time of talking them into coming on your team is a whole lot shorter now than what it takes is senior year in high school. Hey, come play for us. We've been talking to you since you was a sophomore.
Right. 100%. And that's the thing too, like it they do have to keep dialing it, like when I grew up playing, I played the I mean, I played Dynasty, but I grew up playing Road to Glory or like the Heisman, like that story mode. Because like you
Oh
got to
yeah.
control one player, and I was like trying to control myself basically in my destiny and all this fun stuff. So that's why it's like it's so like it's just like I said, it's just the circle of life. It's just bringing up awesome memories from growing up and stuff. It's cool. But they do have to like tune some things and add some things to make it better. But hopefully EA is listening to anyone or the internet basically, and hopefully fine tuning it.
Well, dude, just like with the gaming community now and like Twitch or even YouTube live streams and just how Reddit or Discord with all the avenues that these game developers have to the people who actually play the game. I mean, there is a real chance to get all the kinks out and have a near perfect game, you
Yeah,
know?
and I think too, like we had so many good video games to play, and then like COVID happened, and then everything kind of shut down, and then it
Yeah.
started working for. So I think the just gaming industry or just the world in general is like starting to kind of shift in a new direction, but also everyone's like getting back and like doing what they love, and it's cool to see because like we
Yeah.
missed we missed out, especially on movies too. Like there weren't really good movies, there weren't really good shows, so now we're starting to like pick up into the realm of all right, life's normal now, you know?
Yeah, a lot of the not just small business and restaurants, man. I thought we were going to lose the movie theater here.
I thought we were, yeah, I thought all the movie theaters would be kaput. I mean, there's still a few hanging around, but like, yeah, that's one that I thought was gonna go be gone for sure.
And I guess shout out to Roaring Kitty, Dumb Money on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, it's got Seth Rogen. I think he helped write it and produce it. He's in it, but uh, I think about that moment in time with the he liked GameStop, and then here came AMC, and who knew that those were going to be the two things that a lot of people were going to need the most during that time.
Oh my God, it's so funny. I should have sent it to you. I might be able to send it to you right now. But there was a tweet. You just brought up GameStop, and this is how my mind works. There was a there was a tweet from GameStop, basically like a message saying like, "Hey, we didn't do this, but it's really funny, and if you actually know who did this, like, please let us know." Um, there was a picture of a there was a picture of a lightsaber, like a toy thing. Here, I'm just gonna try to find it super quick. I know this is horrible, but there's a picture of a lightsaber, and they might have deleted it. I hope they didn't. Oh, they deleted the tweet. Oh my God, they deleted it.
Wait,
Oh, oh, hold
inter
on.
internet gold. You gotta hold on to it.
They did delete it. Yep. Wow.
Mercy.
But it was a picture of a lightsaber, and someone put like a sticker from like a pawn shop on it, and it was like I don't know. I don't know if you want to censor or anything, but it was like for rectal use only.
Oh,
Dude, it was so funny. And GameStop tweeted it out like with like an official like statement, and it was like, while although very funny, like obviously this isn't for that use. It was, dude, it's so funny. I'm really surprised they deleted it because it was so funny.
I mean, just with the way that the culture is now and just how social media is just so integrated with our lives now, I think people like that humor with, especially if it's coming from a GameStop or somewhere like that. And you know
Yeah, no,
your you
100%.
you know your clientele, you know they're going to be into it.
Oh yeah, they know their demographic and they know all of our ages and they know what we find funny. It was a very good tweet, but they deleted it or post or whatever it is. But yeah, it's deleted now and gone forever. Someone probably snapped a couple screenshots. It'll float around, but it was perfect. It was really good.
Well, dude, before we jump into anything else, I did want to ask. I know you told me the other night that you were going out to the open mic. How's that been going for you?
It's super scary. Like I just have to start being comfortable or start getting comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, I got funny stories for fucking days. It's just how do I put that into the art of comedy? And it's learning that like it's really because that's what I love, and like literally comedy saved my life. Like there were so many dark days, and like you could just fucking turn to comedy and just get a laugh, and that's through scrolling through Twitter and seeing those funny things, or actually watching stand up, and like that's Kill Tony's. They're doing it fucking perfect. He's,
Madison Square
you know,
Garden. They just came off of that.
dude, that show was so funny. They did it so good. They know that it's so good. It's
Yeah,
just so written well. Like it's they're killing it. It's
that was
awesome.
that was interesting to me the way that Tony figured out because they had done the forum in LA and they did the arena in Austin and good on his end because I couldn't imagine being just a regular, possibly first time ever just in the crowd and you get your name pulled and you're in front of 16,000
I would
people.
shit. I would shit. I think I did one open my first one. There was like there was maybe 10 people. And then this last one I just did, there was like maybe 18 people or 20 people. And I'm like,
Hmm.
oh my God. Like, because no one knows me, you know? So it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
And I'm comfortable, like just this, me and you comfortable right now talking, having conversations. I just got to get comfortable telling funny stories around people I don't know.
And it's just repetition. And you know this as well as I do. You're a fan of comedy. And, what do they say? It takes approximately like 10 years of working the open mics and eating shit until a comic is considered to be a comic. And, that's when you start getting, uh, hitting the road, getting your chops. And there ain't no fast tracking. I mean, we've learned that from
No, yeah.
Brennan Schwab or however. Uh, Two worst comedy specials of all time. A lot of people have been crapping on Burn the Boats.
Is
That's
that was Joe Rogan's, right?
that's right.
Dude,
So the inter
he did it was so good. It was just like a long it was perfect. It was like a long like if anyone listens to Joe Rogan, a lot of us do, especially our demographic. He turned all things and conversations that he has with people he finds interesting into a comedy set, and it was perfect. It was very good. It was very good. I liked it. I
well,
laughed a few times, but like I said, it was like listening to a super long monologue. But I loved what he did. It was fucking beautiful.
it was interesting what he did, and he was talking to Sandler. That was interesting. He had Sandler on this week, and
Hmm. I haven't listened to
um,
that yet. That's one I want to listen to.
it the interview is going to be a little lackluster. They talked a lot about comedy and the craft, which was fine, but I was hoping that he was going to pick Sandler's brain a little bit more than what he did. But uh, to do it live like that, because the way I understand it, a lot of those specials are shot uh, through two or three different live events, and then it's kind of mashed together to wherever you get the most laughs or however else. But that was live.
Oh,
That was live and just one go.
like
So,
one set. I get it. Okay, that makes okay. I see now. I see how it works. See,
so,
this is
so
my dumb brain. I didn't seeing it, and then I was like, oh yeah, I'll just watch live, and like I get it now. That's different. That's unbelievable.
yeah, that's
If that's fucking incredible.
So over the past 2 years, man, I've been getting more into comedy and was Mike Rainey and really kind of opened up the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania comic scene. I've had a couple of those guys come down for Porch Fest. We're
Mm,
going to plan to have a few more of them down, and I
mm.
got into the Kill Tony a little bit and all the other different the New York comedy podcast or just wherever the hotbeds are for that, and really getting into it. And man, I wish I had been there for the whole time. I've spent so much of my life from my teenage years up to now just focusing on music, and I kind of left comedy off to the wayside.
Yeah, yeah, and I think, and that's like the fun part, like in life, like you know what's always gonna keep you true to yourself, and that's gonna be music. Like no matter what, and like me, it's gonna be sport. It's gonna be sports. Like I'm so obsessed with all things sports. Like I just know a little bit about all of them. Like I
Hmm.
remember, I remember we had a at one of our at one of our like classes before like you separate from the military, they just do icebreakers. So they're like, "What's your name?" and tell us something about you that we don't know. And and I was like, "My name's Jared Kenney, and I know a lot of dumb things about a lot of sports." And then you have someone in the crowd that wants to be an asshole, and she was like, "Tell me something about curling that I didn't know." And I was like, "Well, the U.S. men's team brought home a gold medal like the last Winter Olympics, and it was the first one ever." And they were all like, "What? What?" And I was like, "That's just how my dumb brain works. Whenever the Olympics are on, I watch the Olympics. Whenever sports are on, I watch the sports. That's the great thing about them. Like That's my safe place, and I love it.
The thing I enjoyed most about this Olympics was table tennis, and it is
Oh my God,
reignited.
yeah.
It's reignited something. I've got to go represent the United States. So currently, as we speak, I am trying to figure out how one goes about going through the ringer for representing one's country. Could you imagine? Could
I
you?
looked up, dude. It's so funny you said that because you know the guy with the shooting the gun meme?
Oh
Because,
yeah.
dude, I looked it up, dude. I was like, how do you get into Olympic shooting? I swear to God, it was like, so I looked it up and I couldn't find a straight answer because all they shoot are little BBs or whatever. And
Uh,
I literally spent about 2 hours trying to figure that out. I was like, I could fucking do that. And then I didn't find an answer and I gave up. But that's how my brain works too.
and I'll tell you, like with the shooting, it's funny. I've a friend of mine, Steven, we do the open mic at Munson Brothers, and he'll come play. And then just to sober up everybody, we'll all sit out in the parking lot, and Steven he brings his slingshots. He's got all kind of different models and all this and that. And he's got a target inside a catch box. The target is about the size of a penny, and he'll set it up 20, 25 yards away, and he'll just be ding, ding, ding.
Wow.
And we're coming off the Olympics, and all the means from the shooting is like, Steven, have you ever considered like shooting competition, man? And
Yeah.
he's like, what you have to understand, he's like, I'm good here. He's if
Under
you were
pressure
to
is a different thing.
Yeah, and then also he's like, if you were to see some of the slingshot groups I'm in, there's one guy who has got it pulled back. He's looking into a mirror, and his target is a water bottle with the cap untwisted a little bit,
Yeah.
with a drip of water coming out every now and then. That guy took a BB, looking in a mirror, and shot a water droplet.
Oh my God, dude.
It's like this dude is
See, that's
nuts.
art, dog. That's art. That's an art form, and we're all artistic as shit. That's beautiful. It is perfect. Dude, it's
Yeah,
so funny. Like that's the thing. Like those videos, like dude, that's all it takes is like one of those to go just fucking bonkers, and then it can make someone or break someone overnight. It's insane. That's the
yeah.
power of the internet.
Yeah, I mean it goes back to just OG YouTube, FPS Russia. I remember watching his
Mm-hmm.
videos all the time, and he was trying out all these different guns, and he had the explosives and everything. I have no idea if the channel's still relevant, but I remember back in the 20
I think they shut
teens,
him down. They shut him down.
that would
They
make
censored him.
sense. That would make
Yeah.
sense. But I remember in the 20 teens, man, I mean that was all we were watching in college.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that in high school. Dude, it's funny you mentioned the slingshot thing. And I was like, slingshot, does he mean the kid from Big Daddy? You know the kid from Big Daddy and he kills all the birds? That's where my brain goes to. So, hey, maybe that actor's in one of those slingshot groups.
Maybe
Who knows?
that was a twin.
Oh yeah,
That kid.
yeah, the Zach and Cody twins. I'm
Yep.
sorry I forgot their names, but yeah. That's were they were they both in that movie?
hmm They were swapped
Okay.
out of scenes.
I got you. Okay, that makes sense.
Man, shout out to Sandler. I'm looking forward to Happy Gilmore too.
Dude, I am so excited for that. So I'm so excited for that. So excited.
And see,
And it
just to
brings
go
me
back to
back. No,
go
you go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I don't want to talk over you.
Yeah, just to go back to that Rogan interview for a second is if I were to have Sandler on there, and maybe he doesn't want to do that, but I would want to talk about the creative process and like go through each one. It's like, how did you come up with the premise for this movie?
Yeah.
How did you come up? Okay, Bobby Boucher, some of Billy Madison, whatever else, right? Or
Yeah.
even the goofier things up to like a Hubie Halloween, or the serious things to Spaceman, or uh, Uncut Gems.
Uncut
It's like,
Gems.
yeah, or the Basketball Recruit, which
Yeah, that was a wicked good movie. I like
uh,
that. I think that's because I mean, Adam Sandler grew up in the same area I grew up in. And it's like it's just his love for sports and he just tried to shift that into an art form and tell those stories in a comedic way. I think because I think his brain. I'm not gonna say I'm not even gonna compare my brain to his because that's fucking an idiotic thing to do. But as a kid in the New England area, I think that's how a lot of our brains work. And like we just know so much about different little sports, and he took those fucking reins and made perfect forms of art. And those are classic movies and they will live on for fucking ever because they're perfect.
Yeah, I mean, those are definitely going to be movies that pass on. I mean, just like my brother to my nephew is like he's old enough now to start watching those Sandler films, and just to be able to pass that on is this is gold.
Yeah, they don't make them like that no more.
Yeah,
I don't think they might, but I don't know.
I don't think
Not for me
so.
to say.
I mean, that style, like, it's going to be curious to see how Happy Gilmore does with today because you really don't see a comedy film like that anymore.
I would like to hope. I don't know the details of Sandler's contract, but I remember he signed a big one for a lot of movies, I think. And since Happy Gilmore 2 is going to be on Netflix, I would really like to hope that he had a conversation with someone and was like, if we want to make this perfect, I need full control.
Yeah.
And I hope that Netflix said, okay, because it's a subscription service and it's not supposed to be like on TV, you know what I mean? So
Hmm.
I think they can get around some things doing it that way. I hope. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know that how all that process works, but that's just where
Yeah.
my brain goes.
Because I know the Shooter McGavin account on X is one of my favorite follows.
Perfect. It is so good. Dude,
But
that I he's coming back and they're gonna bring like a lot of new people, John Daly, Tiger Woods. At least that's from the stuff I read. And I think that's why Joe Rogan didn't want to get like touched too much on that because he didn't want to give too much away. He wants it to be like a because Netflix is such a big fucking platform.
yeah,
I think that's why he didn't really ask those kind of questions. And I get it. But my brain and your brain work exact same way. I'm like, what the fuck? You know?
yeah, that's all I want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
but
and
I mean,
that's the
and he
thing
did.
too with Adam Sandler. I'm sorry, I keep talking over you. With Adam Sandler, like, uh, remember his old songs, like from Eight Crazy Nights too. Like he plays the guitar. Like he is so talented. Like, and this is my brain working, but it's just bringing up old shit. But yeah, like those old songs, the Hanukkah song, this, that, and this, like they're fucking funny, and it's good. It's good music too.
He alluded to that in the interview, and he was talking about when he got back into stand up, I think 8 years ago, and he's got his special. It's going to be coming out on Netflix end of
Yep.
this month. But that was one thing that he eventually found that he had to get away from. He was just as a he said as a comic, it was nice just to show up, and that was all you had to bring, and you didn't need to have the guitar and the amplifier or even a piano guy. He's let's draw it back, keep it simple. It's just me and a microphone. Because I mean, you think like Bo Burnham or even Owen Benjamin used to do that style to where they had a keyboard and they were gonna do a little song making fun or whatever. It
Hmm.
works.
Yeah, it does work, and that's the funny thing too. Like, and it's like that the open mic I went to last week. Like there was someone who performed. I God forgive me, I don't know his name because it was my first time with that group. But he sang funny songs with a guitar, and it was fucking funny. One of them, the song was like Drake versus Kendrick. It was really good.
Nice. Hey, how's that culture with the open mic? When like I haven't never really frequented an open mic when it comes to comedy. The host or even the group of people that you're working with, or is it kind of tight knit to where they'll come up after you get off the stage, be like, "Hey, uh, this worked, that didn't work. Do you want to joke right together sometime?" How does that work?
Yeah, I don't. So that was like my first time in like that kind of like actual because the first open mic I went to was like me and the wife, and it was literally like me. All right, let me just I just off the top of my head, let me tell a funny story, and it was just a story about going to a concert, and so I did that. I was super nervous. I think I did like 4 minutes, and like no, I didn't even know, and I just recorded myself, and I was like, let me see how long I can do it. Just be super nervous. So it was like 4 minutes, and then when I was done, like that creative process just starts. What could have I said better or done better or changed this, change that? That fucking goes. Um, and I think that's what makes me tick. It's like how do you perfect something, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But to answer your question, this last second, the second one I went to, I kind of I like to keep my circle really small. Um, so like I kind of stayed off like to the side just to watch everyone. I just want to see how the process works. Um, but yeah, it's like all little groups and they're all talking and then one will go to another and talk and then one will go to another and talk.
Hmm.
I don't know what they're talking about, but that's obviously how what they were doing. It's none of my business. And then you could kind of tell when they're all getting up to go inside and it was hosted by someone like I said, I'm sorry, I don't know his name. Yeah, he hosted it and I think he did his first set. It was really like you could tell the people who are fucking doing it because it's just telling that story in an art form. And yeah, it was really cool. And like you could tell like all the people who've been doing it, they're like the first three, four, five, six spots, and then the people who are starting to work. And then I went up and I was like, so this is what it feels like bombing. All right. Like, that's just how it is. But yeah, it was
Yeah,
cool. It was cool to watch. I definitely want to get into it more. They do it on Tuesday nights.
right on. Is that at Big Beach or?
No, that's up in Mobile.
Oh,
He
that's
sent
right.
me the hold on, I'm gonna get it real quick. Carson Taylor. Shout out Carson Taylor.
Okay,
He's the one that kind of I saw him down at the wharf. That was my first one, and the second one was up here, up in Mobile. Here it is. Tuesdays, Oyster City in Mobile, 7:30.
right on.
But yeah,
Shout out.
yeah, shout out Carson Taylor.
I
Thank you for
wonder,
giving me that.
and I don't know if he's still into it or not, but Johnny Havard, I used to bring him up to do comedy when we were still doing the festival at the house,
Hmm.
and he used to frequent the open mics in Mobile. I have no idea if he's still doing it. I still think he's funny, but I don't know if he's still trying.
Yeah.
I'll have to tell him about that. Well, dude, you sent a short little video of the New England area. You had a Patriot legend, and you also had a Red Sox legend. What was going on in that clip?
Oh no, that so that clip that was Alex Pereira. That's a UFC fighter. He's the light
Pereira.
heavyweight. He's
Okay.
the light heavyweight champ. He speaks very little English. I think he understands it when people talk. But Tom Brady, his ex-wife was from Brazil and he speaks Portuguese. So, um, yeah, just I think that like inter sport crossover, like there needs to be so much more of that because there's so many big heads and so many, not big heads, but figures, so many big figures in each sport. And then all you need is those people to just literally have a conversation and it creates a whole new, oh my God, look at all these people like that were fans of him and not now, you know what I mean? It's cultural. It's just, yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome to see.
Yeah, man.
One
Uh,
that I didn't expect, fucking Tom Brady talking to Alex Pereira. If that was not on my bingo card for this year at all. But we need to see more of it.
yeah, it does seem like that, especially now, like Brady and now that he's retired, and some of the legends or the goats have more time. I'm wondering, you're always quick to see the camera pan to them when they're in the crowd at a UFC event or at a NBA game, whatever else. But
Hmm.
yeah, I wonder what that could do if you keep on crossing the pots with that with sports. I think it could open up, and I think I remember high school. This was back with Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz. That was GSP was huge. We were all GSP. Dan Henderson with the Michael Bisping, that was a big thing. The UK
Hmm.
versus the US, um, and that was when I remember in nowhere Alabama to where we had finally heard about it and we were watching it and we were engaged. And now it seems like UFC is quickly becoming one of the bigger sports here in America, probably the world, just to
Yeah,
take over
a
itself.
100%. I can only imagine the like looking at that chart of like numbers or whatever, like how many eyeballs they get. It's probably substantial because like you said, like I think like American football, like oops, sorry, the dog made a noise. American football, American baseball, American basketball, like we have like the NBA, MLB, NFL, like they have the corners marketed, like or the market's cornered, sorry. Um, and like the UFC, like they have so many global figures that are literally from around the world. You got China, Russia, fucking Brazil, literally South America, North America, name it, you have a fighter from those countries. And all those eyeballs from that country is going to be on it. Like it's awesome. It's cultural diffusion. It's at its finest. It's
And
perfect.
it goes back to Rocky Four, man, with fighting the Russians. It is
I
it it
know.
is it is it is that thing to where it's almost like the Olympics. You have two different countries, and especially if it is for a title fight, it's like, well, who is the best? And
Yeah.
obviously, let's say if it was American versus American, it's a little bit more difficult to pick. You'll pick on like personality, whatever else. But even if you despise the American, uh, who's fighting, someone from China or Russia or wherever else, you got to pull for him.
Right. 100, 1,000%. And that's too like I thought it was funny. What's his name? Oh, Dricus Duplessis, DDP, and uh, uh sorry, Israel Adesanya are fighting tonight, and this is Izzy's first shot back at the title since he lost it. Um, and I think he has that fucking hungry dog back in him. Something sparked it. Um, so it should be very fun to watch tonight.
He's uh he's always fun to just watch in general. Oh,
Yeah,
style bender.
he's the style bender, dude. That's like I mean, literally, it was a passing of the torch for from Anderson Silva to him, and like it was beautiful. It was perfect. It like you couldn't write that story better. It it's gonna keep happening, passing of the torch, this and that, and it's just I'm here for it.
Yeah, I mean, because you have so many. We had Eric Anders on Jake's show, Man Up, and he came over from Birmingham and was on. And he's every now and then I'm starting to see him on the cards. And I remember watching him play at the University of Alabama,
Hmm.
and I used to watch him on UFC. I was a fan, and I mean he's still incredibly competitive. But like with Israel Adesanya or even Conor McGregor, probably the all-time best at this as far as name recognition and people. It's going to bring eyeballs to the screen just because who's there. He has that power. Sean Strickland has it.
Yeah,
Um,
it's like creating that. It's just creating a following and just being true to yourself.
yeah, and
I
even
think. And
though
no, go
like
ahead. You're good.
they're two different, but if you take professional wrestling, Brock Lesnar has done both, but I mean and he probably understands it better than anyone because he's been on both sides. But it is that building that persona and you be the hero, be the heel, and I think like the art form and that craft is truly being brought over to the UFC to make it a million times better when it comes to fanfare.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, I agree. And I remember a while ago, and he's kind of changed his stance on it. I remember Dana White was like, I could be very wrong. I'm just going off my memory. I remember, I think he said absolutely not to like walkouts, like how the WWE does it. He
Yeah.
said absolutely not, like with the pyrotechnics and this and that. But that's what the fucking people love. And like I get it from a business standpoint because it's gonna cost way more money, But then again, like it's a fine line. It's such a fine line, and I think he's starting to let these fighters with big personalities and big followings like express themselves. I mean, you see it now in the shorts. Like they all get customized shorts. It's perfect. Like
Hmm.
they all the fighters used to sell advertisements on their short, and that was how they made more money. Um, and then obviously the company signed a strict deal with was it Reebok at first, and then now it's Venom. And the fighters are like, hey, let me express me, and it's perfect. It's just the evolution of the sport. It's beautiful.
Yes, it's been great, like kind of growing up with it. UFC one, Hoist Gracie and all that. I go back on YouTube and I watch the clips, and it is crazy to me how far it's come over a short span of time.
Yeah, 100%.
And I was watching, I don't remember the name of the podcast, but the guy I thought it was pretty remarkable that he said it, but he called out Dana White. They had Dana White on, and he pretty much told Dana that he thought the slap fights.
Oh yeah, he thought it was dumb, right?
Yeah, he's like, it's dog shit, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like people are gonna have those thoughts and whatever, but like, and that's like the full circle moment that I think I've had. Like everyone's gonna like what they like, and if slap fighting or slap boxing or whatever, people like it, that's good for them. It's not. I mean, it's not something I like, but if I watch a crazy knock, like I'll watch the clip 100%. But
Hmm. I like
yeah, I
watching
mean,
this.
that
I
takes a
like
lot of
watching
balls to say that to
the
Dana White.
yeah. So respect on that, and it would definitely be one of those moments. And you know, Dana came back with class. He was like, "Well, what do you not like about it?" And the guy told him. He said, "Well, it's practically the same outcome each time. The guy gets slapped. He either falls down or he loads up and slaps the other guy. And Dana was like, "Do you like boxing?" He said, "Cause boxing is kind of
Mhm.
that way." You could argue that there
It was
is
a
a round.
it was a perfect rebuttal.
There's a round and there's different styles, but he said all they're doing in boxing is punching each other. Like, what's the difference?
Yeah. That's the perfect like comeback for because like that like combat sports, especially like obviously there's so many different ones, and that's why MMA is like or UFC people will call MMA and UFC the same thing for whatever reason. But like the UFC, especially because like they're like the top tier, right? They take all those different people who, who have done taekwondo or have done karate or have done boxing, have done wrestling, and they're trying to put all those skills together and fucking, you know, be the ultimate fighter because that's what the fucking company is. It's beautiful.
Hmm.
But yeah, Dana White, he's such a boss, dude. That was such a good comeback on him. But that's basically what it is. It's like an evolution of sport, you know? And
Yeah.
I think that show at the Sphere is going to be fucking ridiculous. That's going to be so much fun to watch.
Anything else to do in sports, man? Because I did want to move on over into you just came out of being in the Navy. You're a veteran now, and the political climate in this country is at a boiling point. And interesting enough, the country seems to be focused on the vice presidential picks rather than the presidents. I've never really seen that done. Wanted to weigh in. They're both veterans, Walls National Guard and Vance Marine. So uh, I understand Vance saw live combat and Walls did not, but a veteran is a veteran.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think and it's just and I get it, it's in the political realm, and I don't understand that. And obviously my views or what everything I'm about to say don't represent my former employer or my current employer. Um, but yeah, there's just so much divide, and and like it's just going to be a dick swinging contest, and like, oh well, I did this, and then other people go, well, I did this and this and this, that's better or that's more,
Hmm.
and it's like stop comparing like everything that you've done to what other people have done because everyone handles shit different and they compartmentalize and they handle it on their own. And it's just like it's so unhealthy. It's just unhealthy for everybody. And like and for vets at least, that's all we have are each other. And we need to lean on each other. And it's just I mean, I get it. It's the whole election thing. Like they're trying to draw the line,
Yeah.
but there's a line not to be drawn, and it's like trying to separate veterans. At least that's the way I see it.
Well, yeah, I mean, the way that I always understood it, the president is the commander in chief, and
Yep.
Columbus has an Air Force base. Um, we have a surplus of airmen, pilots. I think our Air Force base is number one in the country for training pilots. Neither here nor there, but we interact with them on a daily basis. They come to Munson Brothers. Some of them are musicians. Some of them just like to come have a pizza, have a beer, and it's interesting getting to know them. And it's almost just like college to where you'll spend a year to 4 years getting to know somebody, and next thing you know, they're being stationed overseas or they're moving to a different base here in the United States. And um, one thing about it, if you ever try to talk politics to them, um, they keep their personal politics to themselves, as I believe most people should, because it's nobody's business but yours. And I
100%.
I have never I've never seen two people arguing on the internet to where at the end of the posts and the 76 comments and the dog piles to where everybody came together and sung Kumbaya at the end. It was like, you know what? You're right. You totally changed my mind. It's never that. All you do
It's
is
never.
you further divide the line, and I see it just within like the music community is people are no longer friends, people will no longer associate with one another, and the election season is over, but um the beef is not.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you said, it's just the election season and they're trying to draw lines of divide and that's That's all every election season is basically. And it's fucking sad. It's just I hate it, but I just you got to put down the phone. You got to reset your brain. Do what you love and keep on keeping on because the powers that be is nothing we can do. All we can do is vote, or you cannot vote. You also have the freedom and right to do that because people have given
Hmm.
their life to give you that freedom, and a lot of people forget that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I mean, and I thought that was it was ridiculous. This I've never seen a political campaign to where they focus so much on the vice presidents and like just back to the point I was making earlier, apples, oranges, arguing, but they're both veterans and trying to divide our veterans over this is so ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. But then
It's
again,
and
like yeah, it's just the nature of the beast and it sucks. It just sucks to watch, and we just gotta all kind of hang through it together for at least the next fucking year and a half.
yeah, and I mean at a time like this, man, it's we really haven't had that moment in America to where it really felt like we were a united country probably since 9/11, and it continues to get worse and worse and worse. It seems like it's really escalated and multiplied since 2015 and 16. But we're way off the track now, and I don't have any idea what it takes. You would have thought maybe a pandemic or whatever you want to call COVID would have done a little bit to unite the country, but it didn't. It only seemed to further divide us, and I have no idea where the off ramp is for this or how we begin to fix this.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have the answers either. But that's what it takes. It just takes people willing to have conversations like me and you are right now. And just like people have to realize they're not going to change anyone else's mind. It's just having these conversations and whatever with close people, and they're hard. They're hard conversations to have, but you know, you have them with the people you love.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's crazy. And it's true. For the most part, I bet it is if you see an American flag hanging out somebody's house, and I've seen the post 1,000 times, you can pretty much generalize who you think they're going to be voting for, and you're probably right. That's a very wacky thing to say, but at the same time, that's where we're at.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I get what you're saying. People would probably think that too. That's insane. Such a but but you know what I mean? Everyone else has their own ideas or whatever. Everyone's brain works different.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that I'm at least within the last year that I've noticed everyone's brain works different. And it's beautiful because that's what makes us us, you know?
Hmm. And even it's been wild, like with the Man Up show that's live on YouTube, and every now and then we'll have somebody new hop into the live feed, and I'll usually wear my Porch Fest shirt, and it says Porch Fest 24. It looks like a political shirt, like it would be like Trump Vance or Harris and Walls, whatever, typical political shirt.
Yeah.
And we'll have somebody come in the chat, and they'll be like, Harris 2024 or Trump 2024 or whatever. And we're kind of dumbfounded when we look over there at the chat and be like, we weren't even talking about politics. What are you talking about? And then I look down and be like, oh, he probably can't read my shirt. I was like, dude, this is a music festival shirt, dude. Like, it's 2024. It was a political year, and we thought it would be funny if we mocked up a whole bunch of T-shirts. And now we have over 80 something people wearing these T-shirts like billboards. Who, at first glance, you would think it's a political expression, but no, it's a music festival that we're cultivating and that we're loving on.
100. Oops, excuse me, I almost just burped. 100%. And that's the thing too. That's like I think that's brain rot in a sense, you know? Like
Yeah.
people would automatically assume that's like that is a like for one way or another. And it's like it's just brain rot because people are so quick to like reply or do something or say
Hmm.
something and it's on the internet and then it's like well, they just misinterpret whatever the message is.
Yeah, and I mean, even like the way that you preface, like before we even went into this, it's crazy to me that I mean, you can lose your job, you can lose everything over a social media post, or if you were to say something in public and the wrong ear heard it. I go back to Tenacious D, and with Kyle Gass. They brought the birthday cake out. He blew out the candles, made a wish. He said what he said, whether he was joking or not. That cost them a tour.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
see.
they canceled their entire tour over that, and Australia, that's where they were that night. The Australian government put out that they were expediting them out of the country. They didn't want them to be in that country anymore.
Holy shit.
It's like we do not tolerate that. We don't care if it's a joke. You don't talk like that here. And look, I mean, look at where we're at.
Yeah, it's bananas. Just freedom of speech meant something. Obviously, there's things that you cannot say in public, and like there's things that you can say to each other in private, or there's things that you can say to yourself. And the idiots don't know how to differentiate because they'll just say shit. And like it just that's and then cancel culture will just fucking come so fucking fast and it doesn't matter. And it's a fucking freight train. And I think that's why, like, again, to go back to Jaron Duran saying the word that he did, um, I think that's why Boston culture, like not Boston culture, but like the people in Boston, like Jaron Duran had the highest selling jersey count in a 2 day span ever. That beat Shohei Ohtani when he joined the Dodgers. And I think the beautiful thing about it is because people who are fans and actually know Jaron Duran's story know that his message was like is fuck him. That's his quote. Like he wears t-shirts with that and the MLB was like you can't write that on your uh whatever it was. And he was like okay. But he went through a period of his time in life where he had suicidal thoughts and he came out with that and it helped him become who he is. And that's the mentality he has. Fuck him. Like, I don't
Mhm.
care what people say about me. And then he got caught on a hot mic because he told a fan to shut the fuck up. I think I don't I don't know if I'm wrong if I'm right or wrong, but I believe the game was in Boston. I could be very wrong. I'll have to rewatch the clip, but like it's just sick people. It's just sick people. That's all it is.
I'm blanking
And
on
it's
the
just cancel
pitchers.
culture will fucking come
Hmm.
at you so fast. It's disgusting.
I'm blanking on the pitcher he pitched for the Atlanta Braves, and um, I am just blanking on
Greg
everything.
Maddux
No, no,
or
no, no. He
Tom
was a
Glavine,
he was fairly controversial.
Jake Shield. No, not Jake Shields. Yeah, he pitched for the Red Sox because after every, I think we're thinking of the same person. After every pitch, he would swear. Like if he missed, he'd be like "fuck." Like he would scream it. Whoa. But like that like mindset that like those batters that one at bat and stay focused. And a fan was saying some dumb shit, and he told him to shut the fuck up. I'm trying to think of that picture you were talking about though.
It's gonna come to me of I can't even think of the actor. He made it in a TV show about it. It's not Eastbound Down. It's the other one.
Oh, I love that show. I almost said movie. Kenny
Pretty
Powers?
Kenny Powers, okay, and the pitcher pitched for the Atlanta Braves. Who was that actor? Danny McBride. Uh,
Yes.
the pitcher and Danny were actually born in the same hospital in Georgia. They actually had like in real life a lot of things in common as far as where they're from and how they grew up, and it was pretty crazy that Kenny Powers went on to pretty much be about this baseball player, but he went down.
No shit. Oh, I know who you're talking about now. I know exactly who you're talking about now. I don't remember his name, but I know the story. Yes.
And it's stupid. I had a autographed baseball from him, and Mike Rainey, he's a big fan of him. And when Mike came down to Porch Fest, I gave him the baseball. I was like, "This is yours now." I cannot believe I can't remember the guy's name, but his stick was he went down and pitched in Puerto Rico for a time, and he actually learned the language. He learned to speak Spanish. And so when he got back to America, he would always wear a shirt that said
Hmm.
Speak English. Speak English, you're in America. and he was catching a lot of flack over that. And then he had, he absolutely hated New York City because
Oh yes.
he had this famous story about riding the New York subway, and like he made all the jokes about all the different walks of life that you would see on a subway, and
Mhm.
he made the entire city hate him. And it was crazy. He would go on to play for the Mets for I think one season, and then he would eventually, I think after that, he retired.
Yeah, I do know that exact story. I don't remember his name. I'd have to take like 2 minutes to Google. I don't want to take any more of your time.
No, no, you're good, but
But I do know that story. Yeah, and it was like in the early thousands or like right, wasn't it? Like in the
mhm,
late 2000s before
right, yeah.
2010,
I
or it might have
cannot.
been in the 90s. It might have been even later or before that.
I'm gonna pull it up. I've got. I cannot believe I don't know the guy's name, dude. It's gonna bother me. It's gonna drive me insane. Hang on, John Rocker.
Yes.
John
Yep.
Rocker.
John Rocker, that's his name.
Yeah, so I really believe that's where the inspiration for Kenny Powers and um or even like what was the Righteous Gemstones?
Yep.
Uh
Yep.
that was an actual church family like in Danny McBride's area there in the Carolinas. That was inspired by something real that Danny was aware of. So
Wow.
once again, like going back to you talking about comedy and the art, it's bringing something that actually happened and making it funny.
Yeah. It just there needs to be more of it, you know.
Yeah. So
I
I mean,
love it.
and I think like comedy, and you'll hear it on Kill Tony or even some of your favorite comedy podcasts. Not maybe comedy is the way that we'll be able to heal all this and get it back to good.
Yeah.
I would love to think music, but uh, I mean, I don't know. Maybe
And that's a good
I
thing too, to circle back on this. I don't know if people in your realm or if you have heard his speech, but Jim Valvano's speech before or when he won the ESPY, have you ever heard that? Like listen to it from, beginning to end.
I
It is
haven't.
one of the most beautiful, beautiful speeches I have ever heard. I'm not gonna s say anything or ruin it for anyone, but he basically says if a culmination of words and basically talking about you've had a hell of a day and laughter is one of it. And if you can spread laughter throughout whoever, it might be those people that need, a laughter or something in their life to fucking cheer them up or change their mood. Like it's just that that's what it is. But if I highly recommend everybody, it's like a 4 minute speech. It is perfect. It encompasses of what a beautiful human being or
You're right on, dude.
I don't know if I just disconnected again.
No, you're good. Uh, I recently got myself a DUI back in May, and in the state of Mississippi, you have to go through the MASAP program. It's 4 classes, Wednesday nights, takes you about a month to do. And the last class, it's you take a few tests, and then they'll send the test down to Jackson, and it'll come back, and it reveals a whole lot about yourself with not only if you have a substance abuse problem, like if you're well on your way to alcoholism, or if it's a drug problem or whatever else, but
Mhm.
it also lets you know a lot about your stressors, your triggers, how you cope. And you said something just then about laughter that made me think about that is one of the last things that we had to do, and I'm finished with the classes now, but they were talking about ways to cope, and it broke down in numbers, and right in the middle, like you had unhelpful, then you had this could be, and humor was in this vein. It can be helpful or it can be detrimental, and then you had helpful ways to cope. And my highest ranking was humor. So you have unhelpful, the thing in the middle, which humor falls in that, and then you have helpful ways to cope. And I ranked highest on humor, self-deprecating and all this and that. But kind of going back to that guy's speech is, um, you can, and this was the thing that the teacher was saying, you can use humor or all these different coping mechanisms, but if they're not leaning you more toward the helpful side, it can be very bad because, stress or anxiety or anything else that can kill you just as quick. I mean, it'll lead you to a heart attack, a stroke, just high blood pressure, whatever else. But
Yeah.
there is something to laughter in the brain, whatever dopamine or
Hmm.
chemical it releases, and I mean that's what we all need right now.
Yeah, 100%. It's just, and like I said earlier with like my sports as a distraction, I think comedy is a good distraction too from the stressors of life. Whether however you consume it, it's just find something that you find funny and fucking just stick with it. Because all our
Right.
human, and that's a beautiful thing about comedy too. It's everyone finds different things funny, so it's perfect. All walks of life.
Well, right on, brother. I think we have approached the hour mark. I don't want to
Yes,
take up
sir.
too much of your time.
No, you're good.
A couple more questions to walk it out the door is as far as the socials and what you got going on with the gaming, where can people go to find you and tell us a little bit about what you got going on?
Socials, trying to get more active on Twitter without saying dumb shit, or X. It's at Jared Kenney, Juliet Alpha Romeo Echo Delta Kilo Echo November November Echo Yankee. If you could fucking follow that. Um, and then on Twitch too, JFK underscore headshots. Like I said, that's just those are my initials and found it fucking funny, so I'm gonna send it.
Right on. Question two, man, is man, what are you looking forward to most with the rest of this year?
Um, Trying to get to more open mics, just get comfortable being uncomfortable. It's like a big hard step, but I think that's one thing. And then now we have fucking football season literally starting next week, and it's we're closely approaching the best time of year.
That's right. So don't be scheduling your daggum weddings during this time of year, or
Absolutely.
we will not go, or I'll be on my phone the whole time watching the game. All right, last question to walking out the door, dude. What was your favorite part of the conversation?
I think it's just every time me and you talk, and that's just the thing I love about life, like how interests everyone different has interests, or like when people like come across each other in life, it's perfect. And like I like having conversations with people from all walks of life, you know.
Right
And
on.
I think so that's the whole I love the whole interview. I That's my favorite part. I mean, I know it might sound stupid or whatever, but like, you know, that's what I love about it because we come from two completely different places in the world, or not in the world, in the country, basically. And, look what happened, look where we are now. It's almost like that meme.
That's it.
But it's just, that's my favorite thing about it.
All right, Jerry. Man, thank you so much for your time, and that's going to do it here for us, guys. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Google Podcasts. Subscribe, rate, review the show, tell your friends, get the word out. And that's going to do it here for us, man. Jared, thank you so much.
Yes, sir. See you guys later. Appreciate it.